A Manual of Occultism by Sephariel. Section 1, Chapter 2. The Aspects. The ancients have handed down a tradition which informs us that the triangle is a symbol of the spirit and is efficacious for good, while the cross, which is formed on the square, is a symbol of matter and is of evil import. In practical astrology, we find this dictum to be true. Thus, the aspect, or angular distance between two celestial bodies, or points of the Zodiac, is the means by which we determine whether a planet favors our fortunes or the reverse. The triangle or trine aspect of 120 degrees is good and produces harmonizing effects whenever and wherever it occurs. The asterisk or sextile aspect of 60 degrees is half the trine and is good in like manner but in less degree. The semisextile of 30 degrees is similarly propitious but in a very subsidiary degree. It serves, however, to turn the scales when the influences are conflicting. These, then, are the good aspects: the trine, the sextile, and the semisextile. And to these are added the conjunctions of Jupiter and Venus and Mercury when in good aspect to another planet. The evil aspects are the opposition of 180 degrees, which makes for disunion and inharmonious results. The sesquiquadrate, or square and a half aspect of 135 degrees, is powerful for evil. The square, or quadrature, of 90 degrees, which is only a degree less evil than the direct opposition. The semisquare of 45 degrees, which is similarly, but in less degree, evil. To these are added the conjunction of Neptune, Mars, and Saturn. And Uranus, together with Mercury, when in bad aspect to another body. For Mercury is the interpreter of the gods, and brings to us the message of that sphere with which it is found in any association at any time we may consult the heavens. The astrological aspects are found to be those angles at which the superior metals crystallize. Water crystallizes at an angle of 60 degrees. Again, the angles or complemental angles of any regular polygon, which may be inscribed in a circle, will be found to be comprehended by the astrological aspects. Thus, our earliest progenitors are found to have been both metallurgists and geometers. The evil aspects are all included in this ancient glyph. And here they have a picture, a glyph of what looks like a tree with 5 branches on it. And similarly, the good aspects are included in the following symbol, known as the Seal of Solomon. The key was found engraved on the back of the great tortoise, discovered by Yao, the Chinese patriarch and ruler, in the Yellow River, about 2300 BC. It forms the basis of interpretation to the oldest book in the world, known as the Yi King, or Book of Transformations. It is used by the Chinese for all purposes of divination and is the basis of their astrological system. Besides these, there are many other points of interest vested in the astrological aspects, and as I shall have occasion to refer to them in the next chapter of this section, I will pass them for the moment. Chapter 3. The Signs. The signs of the zodiac are the symbols of those living forms which among the ancients stood for certain cosmic principles and evolutionary processes. In the Zodiacal Scroll, the gifted interpreter of symbols will find the history of the human race already depicted. The typical forms represent various stages of human evolution, as well individual as racial. But we are not now concerned with these esoteric matters, but rather with the exposition of astrological principles. Observe, then, that the zodiac is composed of Asterisms, which, in the year 25,400 BC, corresponded with the solar signs bearing the same names. The signs are counted from the vernal equinox, or that point where the sun's path crosses the Earth's equator. The line traversed by the sun in its annual path through the asterisms is called the ecliptic. This ecliptic circle is divided into 12 equal parts, called signs, which, counted from the vernal equinox, are as follows: Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Capricornus, Aquarius, Pisces. They have the following relationships and groupings. Aries is opposed by Libra. Taurus is opposed by Scorpio. Gemini is opposed by Sagittarius. Cancer is opposed by Capricornus. Leo is opposed by Aquarius. Virgo is opposed by Pisces. The elemental natures of the sign, with their human correspondences, are shown in the following tabular scheme. Fiery signs, represented by a triangle: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Principle, spirit, property, inspiration. Aerial signs, represented by two horizontal lines: Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Principle, mind, property, reason. Watery signs, represented by an upside-down triangle: Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Principle, soul, property, emotion. Earthly signs, represented by a cross: Taurus, Virgo, Capricornus. Principle, body, property, sensation. The majority of the planets being in the fire signs shows that the life is expressed chiefly in the inspirational, aspirational, and intuitive faculties. In air signs, the intellectual life will be dominant. In water signs, the passional, emotional, and imaginative qualities are more pronounced. While if the majority of the planets are in earth signs, the more material, matter-of-fact, and sordid aspects of the nature absorb the vital powers. These groups are otherwise known as the igneous, gaseous, fluidic, and mineral, analogous to the upward evolution of the material universe, which is counterbalanced by the downward involution of the corresponding immaterial principles. The analysis of the sign groupings shows that the fire and air signs are related to the formless or superior universe, while the earth and water signs relate to the inferior or formative world. Again, it will be noticed The fire and air are mutually conformable, ignition depending on atmosphere, while similarly water is necessary to the earth for its fertilization. These sets of signs are in mutual sextile to one another. Thus, Aries sextile to Gemini and Aquarius, Taurus sextile to Cancer and Pisces, Gemini sextile to Aries and Leo, Cancer sextile to Taurus and Virgo. The constitutional natures of the sign are derived from another grouping. They are known as the fixed or basic, common or flexed, movable or cardinal. They may very appropriately be expressed as the acute, the grave, and the circumflex. The grouping for this division of the signs is thus: acute, Aries, Cancer, Libra, Capricorn; grave, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, Aquarius; circumflex, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, Pisces. When the majority of the planets are found at the birth of a person to be in fixed signs, the nature will be independent, self-reliant, pivotal, self-centered, original, cautious, firm, and steadfast. Common signs, the nature is versatile, flexible, complacent, sympathetic, suave, and capable of adapting itself to changes of company and environment. Movable signs, the nature shows ambition, aptitude, executive ability, capable of cutting out a line in life for itself and making headway in the face of obstacles. The driving power is represented by the fixed signs, the sharp instrument by the cardinal or acute signs, and the body that is ribbon or shaped is denoted by the common or flex signs. The thinkers, philosophers, inventors, and originators are of the basic or fixed type. The pioneers, the executive, the partisans, and the zealots are of the acute or cardinal type. The common populace, the passive crowd, the numerous agents, fetchers, and carriers of business, and whomsoever works at the direction and under the leadership of others, all and sundry, are of the flex type. The hand of the archer is fixed, the arrow is direct and acute, and the bow is flexed. These correspondences are the keys to the interpretation of many occult mysteries. Sex of signs. The signs are, alternately, male and female, namely: male, Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, Aquarius; female, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces. The signs are divided into 3 parts, each of 10 degrees, called decanates. These are related to the superior, middle, and lower regions of the zones governed by them, or to which they correspond. The ancients had a conception of the macrocosm under the image of man, which they called the grand man or Adam Kadmon, and to which the microcosm or individual corresponded more or less perfectly at all points. The zones of the body covered by the signs are, in this scheme, as follows: Aries, the head; Libra, the loins. Taurus, the neck. Scorpio, the excretors. Gemini, the arms. Sagittarius, the thighs. Cancer, the breast. Capricorn, the knees. Leo, the heart. Aquarius, the shins. Virgo, the bowels. Pisces, the feet. From what has been said above, it will be seen that if a planet is in Aries, 5 degrees, it has its location in the superior region of the head, while one in the 17th degree of Virgo would be located in the middle region of the bowels. As to whether it be upon the right or left side of the body will depend on the location of the planet in the heavens, which involves a knowledge of the houses. These are dealt with in the next chapter. If in the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, or 11th house, the left side in a male and the right side in a female is denoted, and mutatis mutandis if in one of the other houses. Thus, a planet in Gemini, 5 degrees, in the 6th house would denote the right upper arm in a male and the left upper arm in a female. This example will doubtless serve for all others. The signs are also said to have dominion over certain places and countries, but as these do not form an essential part of the doctrine of nativities, which I am now considering, I may be allowed to pass it by. The signs, however, have an affinity with those elements to which they belong in the elemental grouping, and this would be found of practical use in the interpretation of horoscopes. The lunar mansions begin at Aries 0 degrees and are 13 degrees 20 minutes each in extent. The Arabians gave them specific names and influences. Modern astrologers have, for the most part, given them little attention, yet they are at the root of the Oriental system of astrology, and are by them known as the stations of the moon, or nakshatrams. They have analogy with the diurnal motion of the moon. The mansions are 27 in number, each of 800 minutes extent. The moon changes its signification as it goes from one to another mansion. The critical degrees, or points of change, are as follows: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, 0 degrees, 0 minutes, 13 degrees, 20 minutes, 26 degrees, 40 minutes. Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, 10 degrees, 0 minutes, 23 degrees, 20 minutes. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, 6 degrees, 40 minutes, 20 degrees, 0 minutes. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, 3 degrees, 20 minutes, 16 degrees, 40 minutes. There are thus 9 divisions, or mansions, in each 120 degrees. The Hindus ascribe a specific planetary influence to each of them, and give to each a period of dominion over the life. See Hindu Astrology in the Manual of Astrology by Sephariel. The student will do well to consult also the system which divides the zodiac into 28 parts, each quadrant being subject to a 7-fold division. Chapter 4. The Houses. If you face the south where the sun is at noon, there is a point on your horizon to the left, one immediately over your head, and another on your horizon to the right. An imaginary circle drawn through these 3 points and continued round the earth is called the prime vertical. An equal division of this circle into 12 parts gives rise to what are called the 12 houses. They are numbered, for purposes of reference, from the east horizon below the earth to the west horizon, and thence through the zenith to the eastern horizon again. The diagram on the next page will perhaps convey the idea better than words. The horizon east forms the cusp of the 1st house. The upper meridian forms the cusp of the 10th house. The west horizon forms the cusp of the 7th house, and the lower meridian that of the 4th house. The 1st and 7th houses are called the Ascendant and Descendant respectively. The 1st, 10th, 4th, and 7th are called the angles. The 2nd, 11th, 5th, and 8th are called the Succedent. The 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th are called the Cadent houses. Planets in the angles of a horoscope are by that position rendered more powerful in their action and are more conspicuous in the life of one born when they are so placed. Many planets in Cadent houses will render the career inconspicuous and in a measure servile. Many planets in Succedent houses are an indication of a career that is helped by persistent endeavor. Thus the angular houses correspond with the cardinal signs, the Succedent with the fixed signs, and the Cadent with the flexed signs. And this correspondence may be traced throughout the circle. Aries with the 1st house, Taurus with the 2nd, Gemini with the 3rd, and so on. The Kabbalah of the houses shows them to be divided into 4 groups. Individual, 1st, 5th, and 9th. Possessive, 2nd, 6th, 10th. Relative, 3rd, 7th, 11th. Terminal, 4th, 8th, 12th. Of these, among the individual group, the first is external and relates to the person or body of the man. The 5th is intermediate and has relation to the psychic nature or soul. And the 9th is internal and is related to the spiritual nature or individuality. Hence, all the houses are either physical, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, psychic, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, or spiritual, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. The close study of these intimate relationships of the houses and their correspondence with the signs of the zodiac is the most profound work of the astrologer. It is the foundation of the whole art of correct foreknowledge. For practical purposes, we may brief the dominations and significations of the house as follows. Significations of the houses. The 1st house governs the body, personal appearance, physical well-being, and accidents happening to the person. The 2nd house governs the personal property, money in hand, personal effects. The 3rd house rules the personal relations, the tie of consanguinity, brothers and sisters, also means of communication, whether by vehicle, letter post, telegraph, or other means whatsoever. It denotes cables, bridges, telegraph wires, viaducts, and other means of connection. Writing, letters. The 4th house governs the end of the physical life, the grave, material products, mines, farming, produce, land, houses, freeholds, leases, tenancies, and hence landlords. The 5th house is the extension of the 1st and governs the psychic nature, progeny, passions, pleasures, love affairs, hence theaters, places of amusement, sport, etc., the younger generation, and such things and persons as tend to their well-being. The 6th house is an extension of the 2nd. It governs the food, clothing, servants, personal comforts, relative possessions generally, also the work or profession in which the subject engages, whatever contributes to the well-being of the subject's possessions. The 7th house is an extension of the 3rd. It governs the tie of conjugality, the marriage partner, persons in contract, rivals, as opposing the 1st house. The 8th house is an extension of the 4th. It governs the dissolution of vital forces, death, matters relating to the will, wills, legacies, etc. And being from the 2nd to the 7th, dowry or personality of the marriage partner. The 9th house is an extension of the 5th. It governs the spiritual nature, the far-off land, whether it be that across the ocean or beyond the veil, teleological subjects, theology, philosophy, publications, the law, lawyers, insurances, dreams, visions, and other world experiences. The 10th house is an extension of the 6th. It denotes the ambitions, success, attainments of the subject, honor, credit, public esteem, the mother or father. The 10th is always of the same sex as the 1st, and in female horoscope denotes the mother. The 11th house is an extension of the 7th and denotes the tie of friendship, congeners, associates, syndicates, companies, leagues, clubs, associations of which the subject is a member, his confederates, and supporters. The 12th house is an extension of the 8th and denotes privation, confinement, restraint, the hospital, prison, or other place of detention, sequestration, exile, ambushes, plots, secret enemies, the occult. It will be seen that many other interpretations apply to the house by reflection. Thus, the 1st being the subject of the horoscope and the 7th his wife, the 3rd his relatives, and the 9th his wife's relatives, the latter house comes to mean brothers and sisters-in-law, i.e., marriage relatives. The 10th being the father, and the 4th the mother, in a male horoscope. The 7th is the maternal grandfather, and the 1st is the maternal grandmother. The 6th being the uncles or aunts on the mother's side, i.e., maternal aunts or uncles, the relatives of the mother. The 5th progeny from the 6th, i.e., the 10th house, will denote material cousins. Similarly, with all those relations which a man may not marry, as expounded in the Book of Common Prayer. We have now before us the whole of the alphabet of astrology, and may now proceed to frame a horoscope and read it by the language of the heavens. It is important that the whole of the planetary natures should be learned, together with those of the signs and the significations of the houses, before the next step is taken. When the alphabet has become a language, that language may be interpreted. Until then, we are faced only by dead symbols.